the New York Yankees have been quiet. They have been quiet. And I know that you have a lot to say about that, so I won't even tee it up for you. You just give me your thoughts.
I'm frustrated, Chris, as a Yankee fan. And that may sound like a privileged thing to say. You're normally getting the big fish. You finally see the Mets get someone notable. You finally see the Mets act like a big market team. You finally see the Mets in a position where they're revered around baseball. And now I'm saying I'm frustrated. But it doesn't have anything to do with the Mets. It has to do with the fact that the Yankees are complacent and they are not going all in on what's a team that should be ready to not only compete for a championship, but be the top dog in Major League Baseball. You didn't bring in Garrett Cole to be one of the best. You brought in Garrett Cole to be the best. And right now, you enter spring training tomorrow. Of course, that's not happening. But as currently constituted, the Yankees have Garrett Cole and 4 question marks behind him in the rotation. Basically, 4 blanks. Not to discredit Jordan Montgomery or Domingo Herman or Michael King or Davy Garcia, but these are young, relatively unproven commodities. You don't have Luis Severino back until June at best, maybe July, from his Tommy John surgery. Where are the answers in the rotation? I'm tired of all the LeMahieu talk because you can add LeMahieu, and all that does is make you as good as you were last year. And even that's arguable because you can't guarantee Luke Voigt's production that he put up last year. You can't guarantee DJ LeMahieu's production, which was MVP caliber and another batting title. So all it does is make you maybe as good as you were last year, minus James Paxton, minus Masahiro Tanaka. This Yankee team has problems, and I feel like the fact that they've been silent just further enhances that point that this organization is complacent and they are willing to be one of the best, not the best.
So you're trembling as a Yankee fan.
I'm worried. I am, and
You're
I
terrified.
said I said the Mets deal. Terrified would be an overstatement, but I said the Mets deal doesn't have that big a bearing. It does in the sense that it just sounds the alarm of what are you doing? You're sitting here. The team across town is solidifying itself as a World Series contender as we speak. And you're good enough to settle for just shy of what bounced you in game 5 of the ALDS a season ago. That's what you're settling for. And you can't convince me if you just add LeMahieu back, this team will be as good as it was last year. I don't buy that. I don't buy that DJ LeMahieu, as good of a player as he is, will put up the same production next season. I think that would be a gift if he did so. I don't expect Luke Voigt to be an MVP contender. You're banking on a lot of things to go right, and you have 4 holes in that rotation that you need to plug. Is Montgomery or King or Davy Garcia good as a 4th or 5th starter? Rock solid. I would love them in that role. They cannot be the number 2 behind Garrett Cole. And that's what they are until Luis Severino comes back. What is Luis Severino? Is he on an innings limit? Is he not on an innings limit? What happened to the bullpen? Adam Ottavino stunk last season. The bullpen bit you in the butt when you got to the playoffs. So it was not the same type of bullpen that you were ready to go guns blazing and stifle the rest of the league with. It wasn't that super pen you've been bragging about. This team isn't that great right now. Could they make the playoffs? Yes, I expect them to make the playoffs. But it's not a sure thing if you don't bring back LeMahieu, and even if you bring him back, if you don't have a rotation that you're ready to go to war with.
A lot of problems there listed by Emmanuel Barbari. I mean, something to be a little concerned about, it sounds like. And all of a sudden, you got me excited over here. Let me add potentially the manager as a problem on the list. I mean, I don't think Yankee fans are inspired or entrusting of Aaron Boone. So there are issues, and I agree with you. If this team walks away without DJ LeMahieu, just forget about it. I mean, that can't happen, and I don't think that'll happen. I think they will end up with DJ LeMahieu in a Yankee uniform. And I think I give them a little more credit than you do. I know they're quiet, but the rest of baseball is quiet. They're lurking. They're waiting to pounce, and I think they'll pounce. They have something up their sleeve. They are not content. Let me tell you, if you think that they've changed their attitude overnight, the Yankee culture from being content with being one of the best, I don't think that ever happened. I don't think that ever will happen. The goal is still to be the best. Question is, how do you get there? And I think that brings up some interesting questions. Tanaka, is it Tanaka? Why? Why in the world are the New York Yankees not in on Trevor Bauer?
Correct. So yeah, that's the issue, is the attitude. So, okay, let's say DJ LeMahieu 2 weeks from now is a New York Yankee. 4 years, 100 million, whatever it may be. And he's a New York Yankee in a couple of weeks. That's going to be treated like a marquee acquisition. That should be the expectation. So there's going to be this round of applause that DJ LeMahieu's back. I understand the fan base loves him. I do too. But that should just be a given. He should be back in pinstripes. And you should be adding on that. The Yankees of old, and I understand we're coming off a pandemic season. I don't buy the fact the Yankees are financially wrought right now after $689 million of revenue in 2019. I just don't buy it. Why are you not in on Trevor Bauer? Why? Severino's not back until June. That may only be a month in the season if the season is pushed back, but still a month without a flame-throwing righty who you expect to slot behind Cole. Why not Bauer? Shouldn't the idea be get to the playoffs next year, have Cole, Bauer, Severino, and Montgomery? Boom. That should be your idea. And then anything else is gravy with Garcia or King or Schmidt or whoever it may be. You need to have that top three that you're ready to go to war with come playoff time. Every World Series team has it. The Yankees don't have it right now. So I have a problem with the fact that Bauer's even not in consideration. That seems to be an afterthought. And LeMahieu is being treated like this huge deal if they get him back. That's not a huge deal. I expect them to get DJ LeMahieu back. And they're making me not expect it by treating it like a big deal.
I see what you're saying on that. That you're a little worried about the rhetoric out of Cashman saying that this is our big priority. Right. And you're saying, well, yeah, it should be a big priority, but what about the other stuff? Now, is Tanaka part of the equation for you? Because I think Tanaka is a guy who is serviceable. He's not an ace by any stretch, and he's had his lows and his highs as a New York Yankee, but I think he'll give you good innings. I know that it seems like it's going to be either the Yankees or Japan, but I think that the Yankees should pay him what he wants.
I agree. I think if it's not Tanaka, I'd be willing to take another flyer on Paxton, especially since his value has diminished. You need to slot someone in there that you know. You need to slot someone in there who's a proven commodity. Tanaka's not one of the best pitchers in baseball. He might be a 3-starter, 2-starter at best, and you can hand him the ball in a big game. But you need to put someone behind Cole at the very least to start the season that you know has done it in New York, has done it with the Yankees, can do it in New York with the Yankees, and is a proven commodity in Major League Baseball. Not Jordan Montgomery. I respect Jordan Montgomery. He's not a number 2 pitcher. So Tanaka, I don't think will cost the world. Could you give him a 2-year deal and bring him back? I think that's reasonable, especially he's not getting that many hits if he's talking about going back to Japan. So if it's not Tanaka and you say goodbye to him and he ends up back in Japan, good. You need someone else. You need someone else, and it needs to be a Paxton. It needs to be someone you can hand the ball to and know this guy's going to eat up quality innings for me. And Chris, you may see this the same way I do. I'm not sure if Tanaka is that guy anymore where you necessarily say, all right, go out and give me 6 good innings. At least the Yankees don't treat it that way. He's a proven commodity, but is he giving you more than 4 or 5? That's a real question now. So are you looking beyond Tanaka or Paxton? I think that's another question the Yankees need to ask themselves.
Yeah, the Yankees have more to do than, to me, just one piece in the rotation. And if you want to shorten games for somebody like Tanaka, who can't really promise more than 6 innings out of him, then reinforcing the bullpen would, again, make sense. That's been really the free agent focus of this team in the last many years. So I think that's the direction to go. Let me ask you this, though. Who scares you in this division? Obviously, Tampa Bay has, they're ripping it down a little bit here. And with that being said, it's a weak division. I know the Yankees look in terms of the entire American League. They want to chase a pennant, and if you do that, then you have some problems. Um, but on a pure American League East level, they should be positioned with a DJ LeMahieu and let's say one other piece, James Paxton or Masahiro Tanaka. They're positioned to win that division.
Yeah, it's still the Yankees' division to lose, I would say, entering this year, even though they're trying to reclaim it from the Rays. I just don't like the notion of failing forward because the Yankees could regress next year, win 92 games, 93 games, win the East, and be far away from the best team in the American League. I think that's possible. So I don't want to be complacent because the rest of the division is getting worse and say, hey, the Rays traded Snell. We don't need to add Bauer. Because that's the way the rest of the league is operating and what we were complaining about before. All these teams say, you know what, we'll be competitive enough. We can sell our fan base on this bill of goods. Meanwhile, you're trading away a superstar. Now the Yankees aren't doing the same thing Cleveland did or the Rays did with Snell. But I don't want to be complacent. I want if the Yankees are serious about winning a championship, which they have to be over the next, let's say 2 years, this window is closing with these players all being cost affordable and Torres and Judge. If they want to win a championship, you have to completely obliterate this division. It shouldn't be a question that you're winning the American League East entering the season. I want to win it by 15 games and start focusing on the playoffs come August. That's my mindset. And I'm being a broken record here, but I don't think that's the front office's mindset.
Yeah, I think that's where I disagree with you. I don't think that you give them enough credit. I mean, a front office that has really made every move to become the best team in the American League, and I know that they haven't done it yet. They haven't got that pennant, but they've put themselves in the position to get that pennant. Things have gone wrong at the last moment. They ran into some cheaters for one.
They did.
And I'm the last apologist for the New York Yankees, but I don't think that this is I think you have a radical misunderstanding of their mindset and their goals. Their goal is to win a World Series. That would be one thing that I'd be sure of. Now, if they have a different idea about how to get there from you, then that's different. And you might be right that it's going to require more than they think. But the Yankees' goal is to win a World Series. I do believe that, as opposed to the Mets, where it hasn't been the case for so long, and finally is. That's territory the Yankees have always been in from my angle.
I think they want to get there. I think that's their goal. I never questioned that with the Yankees. I think their mindset on how to get there has a little bit of misguide. It's almost like we're there. We'll get over the hump if we just give it another go rather than let's throw the killer punch. Because bringing in a Trevor Bauer would be that type of punch to the rest of the league that would say, hey, you know, the Yankees are here. They're the big dog. You know, don't mess with them. I view that as what it would do. That would be the symbol it would send. The Yankees view it more, and I'm not inside that boardroom, so I can't say this definitively, but based on their actions so far, they view it as we're good enough. We've been good enough. We're bound to win a title if we just keep going at it with the group we have. I think that's flawed because they haven't done it yet. And there have been teams better than them because there has been some of that complacency. And I think they've run into some bad luck, like you said. They ran into some cheaters. They ran into a brilliant Red Sox team that was not to be stopped in 2018. I think a slightly better Astros team in 2019. A team on a mission, and the Rays who had their number in 2020. And in 2020, I will add the pandemic season, and your goal entering 2020 was to have Luis Severino behind Garrett Cole, and then Tanaka 3, Paxton 4, and really lengthen what would be a formidable rotation. And Severino goes down with Tommy John. So I think that was a huge bad break where if Severino is behind Cole in that rotation, we wouldn't be having this discussion. I don't know which Luis Severino you're going to get once he's back in the fold. So the Yankees have their issues, and issues I want to see addressed sooner rather than later.